With a name like Forest of the Black Cross, this place is bound to experience some shady supernatural happenings. Captured and published to YouTube in July of 2021, the crew are filming at night in the dark and haunted forest, and what they encounter does appear to be supernatural. Something is disturbing the forest, and as they zero in on it, they spot the dreaded figure amongst the thick brush.
Cadê, gente? Ele tá descendo. Ele ali. Olha isso! Cara.
The scary footage captures the face of a wild beast with glowing orange eyes, sharp features, and a gray tone. It looks unlike any other forest creature, and unlike any human figure at that. The crew rightly freaks out, and as a deep growl rumbles through the forest, they flee as fast as their legs will carry them. As they race away, howling is heard into the night.
Meu Deus! Passa! Onde é que entrada, porra?
Were they really faster than this werewolf, or did the wolf simply find other more alluring prey? This man approaches a home, stands in place for 10 seconds without ringing or knocking, and then decides to rip the doorbell cam straight out of the wall for good measure. Notice how he pulls up his sleeves over his hands before doing so. Obviously, he is worried about leaving fingerprints, so he probably does stuff like this all of the time. My guess is that he wanted to get into the house when he noticed the doorbell cam and got scared. He probably thought that by taking the doorbell cam, he would get rid of any evidence that he was ever there, completely unaware that a live video gets sent straight to the person's phone automatically. This video was posted in November of 2018. So far, he has not been caught, but since the doorbell cams have a serial number, he can't resell it easily without getting busted. A woman leaves her car unlocked and loses some personal items, including a set of keys. A short time later, a man who she has never seen before comes to her front door and attempts to gain entry with her missing keys. Fortunately, none of the keys were the house key, and he quickly hurries off with nothing. This just goes to show how easily one incident can lead to another. If you ever experience anything like this, don't underestimate the persistence of those doing it. A YouTuber named RFam is doing a gym vlog when their punching bag begins moving on its own. Slowly at first, but gaining momentum over time. So even if she pushed it herself, it should slow down over time and eventually settle down. But that's not what happens at all. She dances for almost 10 minutes and the punching bag sways back and forth the entire time. What I can't understand is how she dances so close and doesn't notice the whole time. I guess she must have really been into her routine. There's no strings attached to the piece of equipment, and aside from this explanation, I can't think of any other way she could have faked it. This medicine ball also starts moving in the exact same way with no one touching it, at least no one that I can see, and no shadows on the wall to indicate someone off camera. Again, I can't believe she walks right by, but I suppose she simply feels comfortable at home and isn't exactly looking for anything out of the ordinary. This video follows a Filipino ghost hunter who's exploring an abandoned hospital solo. At around 4 minutes in, as he's climbing some stairs, he hears high-pitched shouting. The Redditor who submitted this suggests its scream is that of either a child or a woman. The ghost hunter proceeds to explore the entire floor. All the while, you can hear the screeching in the background.
Narinig akong bata.
As he nears one end of the floor, traffic is heard roaring out the window. Once silence has fallen again, the screaming can be distantly heard, and then at 7:15 very clearly and nearer. The sound is terrifying, but we never find the source. What do you think it could be? My best guess is something paranormal. Alan Kloss likes cars, but beyond that, he also likes exploring abandoned places that are creepy, really creepy. One such exploration takes place at a bridge in Walnut Port, Pennsylvania, where a woman in white fell into the canal and did not come out alive. Notice how at 3 minutes and 37 seconds the camera refuses to focus on the bridge, a sign of the supernatural some would say. They move their ghost hunting equipment to the edge of the water and get a strong paranormal response.
Flashlight.
The flashlight turns on by itself and they use 2 different pieces of paranormal equipment to independently verify the presence of something supernatural there with them. This seems like it could be the exact location where she went under.
Look, alright, stopped back here.
And judging by the way his ghost meter goes crazy here at 37 minutes and 34 seconds, I'd say this is either an underground utility wire or the place where she was laid to rest.
Red, orange, orange, orange.
Hit red?
Yeah.
He actually hit red.
Orange, red, red, red,
wow.
red.
Oh my.
What do you think they've discovered? A YouTuber named Sanjay Key Angel is traveling the countryside in India when he comes across a phantom figure dressed in an all-white shroud that completely covers its face. It pays them absolutely no attention as it crosses the road with no lantern in hand. Moments ago it was wandering in complete darkness, yet it moves as though it had somewhere else to be. How it's able to find its bearings in total darkness, with its face covered, is beyond me. Listen to this part and translate if you speak the language, so that we all know what they were thinking at the time. Also tell me whether or not they sound like they are really scared. Also tell me whether or not they sound like they really are scared, or just acting. Remember when you were younger and you heard the twinkling song of the ice cream truck calling all the neighborhood out for a sweet treat? Well, would you have come running if it had sounded like this? YouTuber Sean Bob Guy published this clip in June of 2008, writing that this demonic ice cream van shows up every single day at his apartment complex. The thing always scares his cat. The cat is probably not the only one with hair on ends. Usually parents tell their kids if strangers offer candy to run like heck, particularly strangers in white creepy vans. Well, this scenario isn't too far off. The ice cream truck's tune sounds nothing short of creepy, giving it a distinct horror movie vibe. You know, the warbling song right before Chucky pops out and takes a life. You can almost expect the clown from It to be serving up soft serves from this truck. Probably not the most inviting image. To add to the creepiness, the vehicle isn't even a truck but is literally a white van driving very slowly through a neighborhood to lure passers-by. And at the end of the video, it seems one is lured as a person comes running over to order from the creepiest ice cream van ever. YouTuber Lynn writes in the comments, "If animals act weird around this sort of thing, it's definitely haunted." The rat nest adds, "And the people who posted this were never seen again." One thing's for sure, this evil tune should never exist. The grounds where a double life-taking has occurred is no place to be at night. The guys in this video learned that the hard way. Published to YouTube by the Valspire family in October of 2017, this ghost investigation has all the right ingredients for fear. A storm, an abandoned house at night in the middle of the woods, and a Ouija board. The host, Aiden, says the house has a super creepy backstory and is said to be haunted. The story goes that 2 male lovers built a mansion up in the woods, as such things weren't accepted at the time. The men had their lives taken in this home. The suspects received life sentences in 1982. But the fact that the police investigation turned up occult tools and books, along with the macabre decor of the home, turned the event into a media circus. The men were labeled devil worshippers. And now back to this video. The ghost investigators leave their house at midnight in a storm, planning to arrive at Corpsewood Manor at 3 a.m. They drive into the woods and then set out on foot on the path. Not sure where they are, ready to get lost. They arrive at a fork in the road and finally find their way to the abandoned manor. Aiden hears a grumbling, which he admits may be thunder.
I heard like a grumbling, but that might have been thunder.
He says that his camera, with its full battery, keeps shutting off every time they attempt to start with the Ouija board. At 3 in the morning, they begin asking the Ouija board if anyone had their life taken there. Nothing happens, but they do hear something in the vicinity. Aiden says that he wants to go check it out and thinks it sounded like someone walking.
I heard someone over there.
Jared is freaked out, hearing another sound in the trees. He thinks it was probably the wind.
Dude, I heard something.
No, you did not.
They decide to leave because Jared can't take it anymore. Can you blame him? Aiden recalls that when he sat at the Ouija board and opened up the portal to the spirit world, he forgot to say goodbye, and he claims that ever since then, weird stuff has been happening. All I know is that place seriously seems haunted. On March 17th, 2021, members of Museo del Horror traveled to a derelict building in an unknown city in Mexico, live streaming the entire adventure. Just after beginning their investigation, the group ventures to the side of the building. As they come to some stairs on the side, a faint growl can be heard on the audio. None of the participants noticed it during filming, but viewers were quick to point it out in the comments. It sounds either like a growl or an attempt to whisper something, but it is difficult to determine what. From here, they enter the building, which is hollowed out and falling apart. Nothing of note happens until just after the 40-minute mark of the stream. A high-pitched noise can be heard, almost like a screech or another hiss, albeit longer than the previous one heard. It's also possible that this was the sound of something rubbing against another object, similar to metal rubbing against metal. The last speculation is it could be someone breathing in, possibly one of the explorers, although nobody else seems to be around except Alfondo holding the camera, and he starts speaking before the sound goes away.
Si está bien la distancia, todo está bien.
The team decides to conduct a Ouija board session, which is not recommended for amateur explorers, by the way, to see if they can get any activity. Not long after starting, a very faint voice can be heard on the audio.
¿Hay alguien aquí?
Oh, escuchan.
I have a spot.
It sounds as if there are words in there, but it is almost impossible to make out. The voice can be heard speaking over questions being asked. Could someone be trying to communicate? Soon they get an answer of yes on the board after being asked a question, and the board remains active for some time. When asked if it is a man, it responds no. Throughout the session, dogs can be heard barking wildly in the background. The dogs were rather quiet prior to starting the Ouija board, and now they are nearly frantic. Animals are known to be sensitive of the paranormal. Could they be distressed at what the team is doing? Or is there another explanation? In the midst of the session, by far the most bizarre event happens. Alfondo's attention is called away to a strange light manifesting on the opposite side of the building from where they are. In the opposite corner, it appears as if a flame has been lit, flickering. Suspicious others might be in the building. They call out and make their way to the area. One of the team members shows a few photos she took, and along with the glow of a fire, the windows make it appear to be daylight outside. However, the video camera always showed the windows to be dark. Furthermore, the photo camera was not using a flash, meaning it could not be a reflection. What could this mean? They decide to do a spirit box session, and instantly, the sounds the box makes sound straight out of a horror movie itself. While it is most likely caused by the rapid switching through radio frequencies, we have never heard another session sound as terrifying as this. Alfonso walks with the device to the other end of the building, and throughout hears some disturbing sounds. First, what sounds like someone wailing in distress. The most disturbing capture of the night is what sounds like a child crying out in fear or pain. It's hard to imagine what could have happened at the location, as it appears some manner of horrors still reside there, endlessly crying out in the afterlife. A fire to warm the darkness isn't always a good thing. Posted on TikTok by official GPT and Instagram by GPT official, this clip was captured during the Ghost Panic team's live stream. The footage shows a man shouting into the wilderness. At first, you don't know what's going on as he spins around, but after a time, you see a figure perched in a nearby tree. The figure blends in with its surroundings until it lowers its arms. Then you can distinctly see its face, hair, and body as it remains perched on its limb. As the man talks to it, the figure stands up. Then inexplicably, a fire is lit at its feet. The cameraman quickly flees the scene. It's unclear what the figure was and how the fire was lit, but by the cameraman's panicked reaction, I have an idea that this figure was nothing less than evil. Jan Flink heads to a crumbling cluster of haunted cabins in his home country of Finland. His flashlight cuts out 6 times as soon as he reaches the back of the first cabin. He is still holding it though, so maybe he is doing it himself. Up in the attic, he finds this strange setup, a single bowl on a makeshift sleeping area, made of thin wood. Only one shoe is never a good sign. He goes outside and his flashlight starts messing up some more, but look behind him right before it does.
Should I just say bye? Or see you again in next video. Bye.
A woman in red with long black hair is looking at him. It wouldn't be too hard to fake this, and the fact that nothing happens for 44 minutes until the very end of this video makes me suspicious, but Jan Flink claims that this is the spirit of a woman who had a bad encounter with a bear in 1964 and passed away. It's been years since the video was posted, and as far as I've been able to research, he never said it was fake. Have you ever wondered if a ghost might appear in your next selfie? Well, this video is evidence that they're all around us, at all times. The girl in the video is using a Snapchat filter, which appears to be capturing a nearby ghost. At least the filter is putting dog ears on a face that doesn't exist. The girl asks the ghost to stick its tongue out for her, when she realizes there may be 2 spirits there as 2 dog filters appear in the empty space.
You want to stick your tongue out for me? Because this is pretty... Whoa. Whoa, there's 2 of them.
Throughout the video, one of the dog filters disappears only to reappear in a different place. The girl tells the spirits they are welcome there and just to clean up after themselves. Then the bigger ghost moves closer. She asks if it's going to stick its tongue out at her, only to have the dog disappear again. And then...
Are you just going to, no? Okay. Are you gone? Are you gonna come back?
That was a jump scare if I've ever saw one. Are these friendly ghosts or villainous pranksters? Your guess is as good as mine. All I can say for sure is that something suspicious is happening here. This girl sobs into her long black hair, and her wails of sorrow are beyond strange. Take a listen and tell me if the cries are really coming from her, or if they've been layered over top. And just when her hair parts, and we see movements from seeing her face, if this really is a roadside ghost, then whoever is filming this should be ready for a serious haunting. I don't know much about video editing, but I will say that the video is low quality, which is a sign of computer rendering, and the upward transition looks a little rough around the edges, so although this video could be real, and from a long time ago, I do have some doubts. A YouTuber named Marissa Rachel makes a ghost video update to show what can go wrong when you take your chances with a Ouija board. She thinks her house has been haunted by a ghost for a while, and she sometimes wakes up with strange marks on her body that she can't explain. First, a ghost in her room spells out the word help.
Is this room haunted?
Me neither.
I'm not moving it.
Well, I'm definitely not moving it. I didn't do that either. Oh my, that's really scary. I want to stop playing.
I can't see a string, and this video is a pretty decent resolution, so one should be visible across the darker parts of the board. That still doesn't rule out a magnet under the table though, so maybe that's how this video is made. I know this plastic pointer doesn't have one, but maybe they've taped one underneath. Otherwise, this scary video must be paranormal. In this house, you'll expect a jump scare around every corner. After experiencing paranormal events in his family home, this man decided to take some video to see if he could capture anything on camera. Let's take the haunted tour. What is happening here? He finds a flower on the stairs. He claims no one in the household knows where it came from. Is this knock a warning, as the YouTuber believes? Well, upstairs in the bedroom, it happens again.
Amen. You think you've got what they're
Something just threw the clothes from the wardrobe. If those knocks were a warning, I'd take the clothes as a clear message. This ghost wants you to leave. Isn't nature beautiful? This video shows us it's actually terrifying. Redditor Sarah in Alaska shared this clip of the stunning Alaskan wilderness, but listen closely to the audio. She's wondering if viewers hear a voice, and if so, if you can tell what it's saying. Redditor Endangered Mind 2 suggests that the voice says, race back down, and Sarah agrees. As they just reach the summit, after listening repeatedly, I agree that this is what it sounds like, but the voice is not theirs, so whose is it? I don't have any answers, but I think I'd keep off this trail for a while, or never hike it again. If you remember one thing about the forest, remember this: it's no place for the faint of heart. Posted by Mysterio Canal in January of 2013, this video purports to show a fire witch in the forest. Translated from Spanish, Mysterio writes, the video amateurs pursued an alleged witch on a road in southern Mexico. Running into it several times, managed to capture it in detail, looking like a being of flames or a witch. It is worth mentioning that there are many physical phenomena that can explain this event, but you have the last word. The video shows a glow in the distant darkness that shines for a moment before dimming to black. The amateur videographers are driving down a dark and bumpy dirt road at night towards the glow. Then in the midst of the road, the orange light again appears, igniting a figure in the road. What is it? Could it be the rare fire witch? According to Fixpedia Fandom Wiki, a fire witch is a rare figure in folklore that can either heal or destroy in an instant, and of course their primary source of power is the ease at which she can manipulate flames, using her ability to cause unseen destruction. These witches aren't only here to destroy, however. They are also masters at healing and may heal if they so choose. Is this mystical figure captured in the forest good or evil? Let's hope she uses her powers for the better. Shadows can be tricky things. Sometimes they're natural, other times they lean more towards the paranormal. This one seems to be the latter. Posted on Reddit by user Ukire. The Redditor writes that he still has goosebumps after receiving this clip. Some in the comments admitted to being upset with yet another orb post. But then, after watching it all the way through, their yearning for nightmare fuel was rewarded. Although it just looks like the still image of a cell. Wait for it, and wait for it, and wait for it some more, and you just might be rewarded too. The Redditor wrote that his friend works the night shift here at this institution in a former police station. The room where this is filmed is not in current use, but in the past was a place where people checked out of custody. Some in the comments say the video looks legit, others pointed out a creepy long face that makes a split-second appearance. Most in the thread comes to a consensus that this happenstance is very creepy and goosebump-inducing. Could it be a haunting, or something worse? Whatever it might be, it's certainly mysterious. Holly's Lore is a paranormal investigation channel that explores creepy abandoned places to see if local legends are real or fake. In one ghost hunting episode, she explores a haunted forest in the swamps of Maryland in search of a headless apparition named Big Liz. The haunted bridge is said to be where all of the ghost sightings of Big Liz have occurred. There's a certain ritual to summon her that I'll get into in just a second. But first, they explore the bridge and hear some creepy noises that could be ghost moans. Tell me if this sounds paranormal to you.
Rolling. Rolling.
What is that? Did you hear it again?
That sounds like something dying.
Okay, so now the time has come to summon Big Liz. To do so, they must flash their lights 3 times and honk twice. Watch this area closely or you'll miss it.
Flash them 3 times, honk twice, right?
Yep. Done.
What was that?
What's that?
What are you talking about? Wait, what?
At 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 17 seconds, a shadowy mist passes over the bridge. There is no fog and nothing obstructing the headlights. They all see it except for one investigator whose view was obstructing because they were sitting in the car to flash the lights. And when Holly investigates the nearby woods with a high-power flashlight, the ghostly figure is caught on camera.
I thought it was closer. It was closer. But now I'm hearing it way over there.
So as far as I'm concerned, this paranormal investigation shows that the legend is real. A camera pans across a white room filled with antique furniture and creepy collectibles, which is already bad enough, but when it stops at a tall old mirror, they seem surprised to find a childlike silhouette filling out the frame. As they are studying the child in their shaky gaze, a pair of identical orbs float above her head as 2 pinpoints of light become barely visible, almost like she is turning her head slightly. I guess this shadow child could simply be a large doll. However, even if this was the case, as far as I'm aware, only the eyes of the living can reflect light like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lifeless doll should never have glowing eyes. The person recording sees the eyes and tears up the steps in a hurry. They would later refer to the event only as the girl with sparkling eyes in the dark. According to a team of ghost hunters, this house in San Pedro, California has long been haunted by poltergeists who like to open cupboards, throw plates, change television channels, and linger in certain rooms until a mother and her 2 children felt uncomfortable enough to leave. A lot of events happened before the ghost hunters became involved and therefore were never recorded, but it wasn't uncommon for red liquid to drip from the walls of this haunted home for no explainable reason. Here's a quick clip of this happening in real time before the team's very eyes.
Everyone just left except us. Things are starting to drip out of the cabinets. Nobody believes us, but it's happening. There it is.
There it is, right there. It's dripping.
Eventually, the ghosts drive the mother and her children out of the home, and the ghost hunters volunteer to stay there and investigate for several months. One day, they hear 3 loud snapping noises coming from the attic and send a man named Barry to investigate. As he later recalls, something was up there waiting for them.
Are you okay, buddy? God, look at his neck. Snap him up. What's behind your neck? I don't know. What's on my neck? Look at down. Police are up. Barry, get down.
Barry comes back down distraught and confused, now missing his glasses. Some kind of cord is wrapped around his neck, and he insists that something had tried to choke him upstairs in the attic. The investigation was called off not long after, out of a concern for the team's personal safety. These paranormal investigators use a flashlight to communicate with their ghostly counterparts. Published by Mackie and Amanda in April of 2022, the pair explore the haunted Cosmopolitan Hotel in San Diego. The girls talk to the spirits in the hotel, requesting that they interact with this dangling string, and the spirits respond.
Just touch that string one time.
Did you see that? And if you're watching it, because I'm watching you hold the things completely still, I watched like how far it was going up against the line, you know? It definitely moved further.
It looked like someone touched a string about a foot up.
I don't understand, there's no wind.
Me either.
Later, while sitting in bed, they hear repeated noises. They check to see if someone is walking outside on the balcony, but no one's there.
Cheers, Ed. It's all another.
There's no one here, Amanda.
I haven't seen really anyone at this place.
I haven't either.
Then the water starts to drip in the bathroom, and it continues to sound like someone is in their room.
I think room 11 was the one that they...
I think someone's in here.
They ask the spirits to turn the flashlight off and then back on. After asking the spirits to repeat this act, the flashlight turns off and the REM pod in the bathroom goes off as well.
Can you turn the flashlight off? All the way, completely off.
The spirits continue communicating with the girls through the flashlight. They find out that they're speaking to a ghost named Isadora. She confirms it's her through the REM pod.
Okay, wait. Isadora, if that's you, okay? I was gonna say, can you go over to that REM pod we have in the bathroom?
That red light.
That red light that was just beeping. Can you make it start going off again? Can you make it start beeping?
We'll give you like 15 seconds. Just like she said yes.
Oh my God.
The correspondence continues for a long while, with Isadora being very communicative. Mackie and Amanda return to talk to her later.
I feel like no one's here. No one's here right now. Just give me a minute. Isadora?
Wow, look at that. What is that?
Wait, what is that? What's shaking?
They check out early because they're understandably creeped out. It sounds like there's many unseen residents of this hotel, and they're not leaving anytime soon. Published by Urban Ghost Hunters in February of 2020. This paranormal crew investigated a haunted 19th century church in rural Tennessee, with urban legends surrounding it, involving dark rituals from the 60s onward, and reports of shadow figures and disembodied voices there. It was ripe for investigation, and the crew wasn't disappointed. After placing a Bible on the candlelit railing in the church, something in there was angered by it. I guess this church lives up to its haunted reputation. The roads in Guwahati, India are apparently haunted. Just ask Abhinash Kishore, aka the Mind Hunter. He pulls up behind a vehicle with an extreme background story that I'll get into in just a second. First, try to translate what he says about this truck, and then I'll tell you what I was able to research.
Guys, ঘুৰি থাকোতে থাকোতে ভূত বিচাৰি থাকোতে থাকোতে এইখন সন্মুখত কি গাড়ী দেখা পাইছে নে ৰব ভালকে দেখুৱাই দি আছো গাড়ীখন অলপ আগুৱাই দিয়া
Okay, so get this. I did some deep digging and found out that this truck is actually the only hearse service offered in the area. Before this company came to be, people used to carry the departed to the nearest graveyard. As an extra bonus, on this blog post I found information on 3 extremely creepy but also saddening comments requesting the service as soon as possible. That means within this metal container could be someone passed away, so when he finds not 1 but 2 of these vehicles lined up in the middle of nowhere, he knows that something really bad must have happened and he better not stick around for long. Unfortunately for him, the time to leave safely has already passed.
Stop.
The Mindhunter's assistant gets scared and drives off, but the Mindhunter will have none of it and makes him return. There is another brief sighting until the figure fades away into darkness. This alleged ghost sighting caught on video could simply be a third member of the group, but since it happens not far from where they found the abandoned vehicles that could have had passed away people inside, it could be real. If you've lost a loved one, you might sometimes feel that their spirit is still with you, and if you're anything like TikToker E to the R to the ICA, you might find video proof that this is actually true. Erica R 1971 posted this ghostly video to the site writing, "So my security picked this up tonight. My dad passed on November 26th, and I wonder if it's him. The footage shows a ghostly figure pass by, floating casually past the security camera. The figure is white and vapor-like, appearing across the scene from right to left. If Erica is right, and this is in fact her father's spirit, what is he trying to tell her? Does he just want to comfort her by making his presence known? It does not look like CGI to me, so I think this video is 100% real. In Erica's place, would you feel comforted by a ghost? This person's spirit didn't stay in the ground. Published by Scary and Mysterious Stuff in January of 2022, this ghost hunter was walking along a road near an old graveyard at night when he spotted this. The ghostly figure could, of course, be a statue. It does seem to be standing abnormally still at first, then it clearly starts to move. Its long robe flows behind it as it strides forward. The cameraman comes closer and finds it kneeling before a grave, praying. When it turns to look at him, he shoots off like a light, running as fast as he can before his lights are out forever. Definitely the right call. This video comes from a YouTube channel in Poland called The Slamming Door, which was named after a loud poltergeist who frequents a small home in Europe. The owner of the home eventually sets up cameras in all of the main rooms to capture the highly aggressive spirit in action. Everything looks normal in this bedroom until about 50 seconds into the video, when the poltergeist demands to be acknowledged. It targets a video game collection and sends cases to the floor. This could have been done with a string, but watch again and it does look like an invisible entity swipes everything off the shelf in one smooth motion with their arm. Also, this is a fairly big gaming collection, so if this was fake, you'd think they would knock over something less expensive that they didn't collect or otherwise care about the condition of. This final video is what finally drove them out of the house once and for all. They enter only to find the house has been trashed, and it seems like a spirit is following them around as they explore room to room. They return to the same bedroom in the previous video, and something is in there with them that makes them jump. On the way out, the kitchen light swings wildly, and a chair briefly pulls out on its own. I wish they would have recorded the entire room so we could verify that no one was in there with them, but they were obviously in too much of a hurry to fully document the occurrence. A YouTube channel called Abandoned Explorer heads to an old house that is so eerie, it's best to go by day. I hear a strange noise in this video at 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Is this a creepy sigh?
So I'm going to guess this is like some sort of living room area.
They are in the center of the house, so I don't think that it can be the wind. Anyway, they continue exploring until one of them yells for assistance. Perhaps they've made contact with someone on the other side.
Hey! What? Damn, mate! What's going on, mate? Whoa!
But as it turns out, they've only made contact with the other side of the floor and now dangle helplessly.
What just fell through?
They do show the same hole earlier at 6 minutes and 12 seconds though, so this might have been staged. I can tell because this distinctive yellow area is seen in both shots. Donnie and Tony partner up to form a freaky ghost hunting channel called Daunton Paranormal. This time the pair are exploring a spooky cemetery known only as the Labyrinth. Exact location unknown. What they found in this haunted place is beyond words and without explanation. Watch the far doorway and you'll see it too. The thing that weirded them out for life.
Don't pull in. Come here.
As you can see, a tall figure blocks the top of the stairs. When they get too close, the peculiar shadow curiously disappears. After reviewing the evidence, Daunton Paranormal wonders if they've actually captured a real ghost on video. They didn't notice the creepy shadow until reviewing the tape much later. The shadow figure looks creepy and appears to have no natural source, at least not one from our side of this world. Tell me if you think this was a true sighting, and more importantly, if you would be brave enough to go up to that door and face whatever that was. I don't think I could ever return for a follow-up investigation, but I hope they do. This footage was supposedly taken by a 911 caller, and later edited to include his actual 911 call. The caller starts out by saying he's hearing some strange noises in his basement.
I think there's somebody in my house right now. What happened was I was hearing some strange noises coming from my basement. I tried to go down there and see what it was, and I think I saw someone standing in the corner over there.
And this ghostly basement sighting is what supposedly caused him to make the call.
I got it, so I'll show the officer when he gets there.
Look closely, and you will see that this does appear to be a shadowy figure from another time period. I personally see someone from the Victorian age. Perhaps a woman with a large dress and oversized hat. He runs upstairs and makes the call after seeing her. Then again, if this video was real, then I don't know how he would have gotten a copy of his own 911 call. I could be wrong, but I think those are private records and generally unobtainable. There are also sound effects that are obviously put over the video once he sees the ghost, so maybe this is just a prank after all. It could be computer effects or even a mannequin. A YouTuber named Johnny B. Good goes ghost investigating at an underground memorial deep in the woods to see if they can uncover any evidence of the paranormal. They notice these rocks are in a strange formation that I think could have been used for some kind of black magic.
These rocks were placed here in a circle once, in this one corner. Why is there a hole right there?
Sure enough, holes are in two corners of the room. Could this be part of the spell? They ask if this place is a portal, and look what their K2 meter does in response.
Is that a gateway to you?
Yeah, okay.
And here's where it goes from creepy to downright sinister. Their UV light detects two blotches of fluid. They could have come from some kind of vein opening ritual that never should have been. A group of friends loudly proclaim their disbelief as a slow-moving object flies across Los Angeles.
Hey, it's from a different dimension.
It's from a different dimension, one of them jokes, but according to the uploader's own words, they felt a strange energy overwhelm them as the objects passed overhead. The object is really large to be that size. From such a far distance away, it's too big to be a commercial airliner, not to mention perfectly round and solid black. They are able to track it for over 2 minutes as it grows smaller on the horizon, and just before they can no longer see a thing, it blinks out of existence in a mysterious flash of light. The odd sighting in the sky occurred on October 4th of 2020 and is yet to be properly explained. The uploader says this was from another world, and it looks like he might be right. Thomas Hayes has been hearing scary loud sounds lately, strange scratching noises coming from inside of the wall, right next to where he sleeps at night. Anxiety mixes with fear as he dismantles the electric socket to investigate what's gone wrong behind the walls. And let me tell you, the source of the scary sounds is beyond creepy. He tries not to scream as he finds the wall is filled with an endless number of fried insects, roaches to be exact, and look, at 30 seconds he absent-mindedly flicks one off with his finger. That's not exactly the reaction I was expecting, and certainly not what I would have done, but I guess he was shocked at the time. Speaking of, I can't help but wonder how safe it is to prod around an electrical socket with a screwdriver in the first place. I know he probably turned the power off, but I feel like it could still hold a charge. Someone tell me in the comments. A Ring camera caught yet another attempted intruder in the act. Actually, this time too. Published to YouTube in a Ring cam video by Full Moon Crazies in July of 2019. The surveillance camera was placed behind a lamp and captures a pair of thieves going into a home during the Christmas season. The thieves are partially hiding their faces with their hoodies, and they seem to spy the Ring camera right away, as they look directly at it. After gathering some backpacks, likely filled with the taken goods, one of the intruders can be seen knocking the camera down to avoid its capturing further incriminating footage, but he didn't totally succeed. 2 more intruders are caught on camera entering the room from the hallway. The clip ends without further explanation. These intruders more than likely made off like bandits, but we can only hope this video evidence was enough to catch them. Either way, this cost them Christmas, as they were sure to end up on Santa's naughty list. Have you ever felt like someone was watching you while you slept? The truth is, they might be. A couple in Bucktown, Chicago, discovered an intruder had crept into their home to take their valuables and to watch them creepily as they snoozed on the sofa. He was captured on a security camera gazing at the couple, Jordan and Jack, from the upstairs balcony while they slept below on their couch during a Netflix binge. It was only when Jack said to his girlfriend, "Why are you at the top of the stairs wearing a white hoodie before we went to bed?" and she answered, "I wasn't at the top of the stairs," that the pair started to freak out. The intruder stood over them, watching for nearly 5 minutes the first go-around. Then he went back to snooping through the couple's things, only to return and gaze at them for another 5 minutes. The intruder is believed to have burglarized other neighborhood homes. He managed to get into the house through their bedroom balcony door, which they'd left open. In fact, he was so light on his feet that the couple's dogs didn't even budge. They slept the whole while at their owner's feet. What valuables did he take? As it turns out, only Jordan's purse. In fact, this was the reason the couple watched the surveillance video in the first place. They'd gotten into an argument about where Jordan had left the purse. Jack suggested she'd forgotten it at the restaurant they'd gone to the previous night. Jordan insisted she'd brought it home. Moral of the story, binge watching Netflix is more unsafe than you'd think. A group of forest rangers set up a camera at the Platte River State Fish Hatchery in Michigan to live stream a nest of baby bald eagles mature. They were never intending to accidentally capture a second much larger creature instead during the live feed. A giant humanoid figure covered in what appears to be black fur prowls around the forest floor below. It doesn't look like any other native forest animal, as it clearly stands upright and swings its arms while walking. Maybe it's a person in a full bodysuit, or maybe it's an actual Bigfoot. Then again, since numerous other Bigfoot sightings have been reported in the state over the years, it could very well be legit. Luxi is investigating a purportedly haunted cemetery. As they approach the area, they find a lifeless animal near a tree.
Todo lo que hay gualichos. Acá pueden ver, pueden corroborar que hay un animal, miren, un animal muerto también, de los gualichos que se hacen acá en esta zona. ¿Lo puede levantar, por favor? ¿Ve? Este animal.
He captures some of the tombs on video.
Uno de los... Allá atrás se puede apreciar, no sé si alcanza la toma de mi celular, porque mi celular es un celular muy bajo en resolución. Pero bueno, vamos a caminar a ver si podemos ver algo.
And then he and his entire extended family continue walking until they see what they came for.
Mirá. Por ahí, mirá. No, esto de no creer, esto de no creer, vamos. Corran. La verdad que no me lo podía esperar.
Did you see that figure? The figure in white appears very small and moves slowly through the tall grass. After putting some distance between them and the mysterious creature, the cameraman turns around to capture one last glimpse.
Ahí se ve. La verdad que se mueve, está en movimiento. La verdad que Jesús de Nazaret. No, vamos, corran. Agarra al nene.
Is it a witch? A ghost? The YouTuber believes it's an elf. I'm wondering if he might be on the right track, but in that case, why not stick around to see if it's good or evil? Cuyahoga official are being stalked by a mysterious being in the darkness. They first capture this figure as they walk toward the haunted place. Still, they do not leave. They continue exploring.
कौन है?
आ गया
नींद कहते हैं नींद
वो देखो वो दीवार पे
कौड़ हुआ
हुआ यार वो दीवार पे था यार कोई वो
They then hear some creepy noises around them.
ओ कितनी गंदगी है यार यहाँ पे भाई
एक तो आवाजें आ रही यार ये देखो ये
And then they see it.
अल्लाह अकबर ओए यही थी ये यार
It is like the figure is taunting them.
अल्लाह अल्लाह
And it all comes to a head.
ओ कौन ये क्या कौन हो आप बात सुने हमें
What does it want from them?
Here we'll go. ओ पीछे पीछे वो दीवार पे
It seems to appear and disappear repeatedly,
वो देख यार
only to appear again in the end. What is this figure? And what does this all mean? Only the devil knows, which is why this is one scary video they tried to hide from us. A YouTube channel called Outdoor Adventures encounters some creepy activity in the woods that some viewers are certain is paranormal. It happens during the first night of a camping trip. He's looking into the distance when there's a brief burst of movement coming from over his shoulder. He suspects that this could be some deer running behind him, but I think it looks more like a ghost encounter because of its pale color and formless shape. Ordinarily, I would say that this was steam from his breath, except this was taken in the middle of summer in north-central Pennsylvania, so it's obviously too warm out. And I don't think he's making up the date because it's warm enough that he doesn't need a jacket. So that's surprising and all. But there's one more scary part to this video that I'm sure you won't expect. Did you happen to see the eyes watching over his shoulder at 2 minutes and 17 seconds? Because whatever this is, sure sees the camera. Its odd eyes spaced across an unseen face, much larger than yours or mine. Under the ancient city of Taif, Saudi Arabia, is a scary haunted cave tunnel that you don't ever want to go exploring by yourself. Famous ghost hunter Abdullah Al-Anbari has made a career out of fearlessly exploring such haunted places, but the question remains, will this haunted place scare him? So far, he's kept his cool among some scary things. Exploring the tunnel some more reveals that it's been walled off, and yet just when the ghost hunter decides to turn around and go back, something paranormal beckons him to stay. The cave is suddenly filled with scary noises and a strange mist that wasn't there moments before. He waits for some more activity and finds nothing. Apparently, he is braver than the ghosts once more and leaves victorious. This video could be paranormal unless they somehow figured out a way to get on the other side of that wall to make the noises themselves, though I don't happen to see one. You can expect to see a lot of new scary doll videos on TikTok because the reality ripple has made it easy to separate the haunted dolls from normal ones.
So y'all, today I decided to go into a thrift store to see if any of their was haunted, and check this out. Oh, no.
This doll looks no different than the 8 other dolls around it, and yet it glows with a faint orange hue to indicate that it's cursed. If the reality ripple was simply a face scanning filter, then I see at least 2 other dolls that should have set it off. Instead, this filter must be tracking something else, perhaps an electromagnetic energy of some kind. A YouTube channel called The Real Revealed goes to Sanjay Van, one of the most haunted woods in all of India. To top it off, they decide to wait until 3 a.m. before ghost hunting. I'm not so sure about the supposed first encounter though. They say this is the sound of a spirit, but I think it's just the cameraman breathing.
वैसा कोई दिख रहा है ऊपर की तरफ देखा मैं एक बार वैसे आप लोग अगर ये कैमरे में
The next voice, however, sounds much different and I agree could be paranormal. It sounds distant, almost like a radio, but they're in the middle of nowhere and wouldn't get reception out here. Translate what is being said by them if you can.
लगातार इधर से उधर मूव कर रहा है क्योंकि लाइट्स में हमें
I may not know what they're saying, but I do see this light appear as soon as this strange voice is heard. It's probably a bug, but if it's not, then this is a coincidence worth mentioning. The voice trails off a short while later, and they aren't able to hear it again, or find the source. I think they probably really did make contact with the supernatural, but I will reserve my final verdict until after someone is able to translate this video. A YouTube channel called The Paranormal Detectives investigates the Morton Corbet Castle in England. A man named Paul Holmyard cursed this property after his exile sometime during the late 1500s. And centuries later, his curse still apparently stains these walls. The paranormal detectives set up 2 haunted dolls of their own to act as spiritual conduits for anything nearby. Not only does one of their dolls, Elizabeth, fall over, but this strange black line begins leaking from its neck onto the wall behind. Fully stretched out at 1 minute and 53 seconds, it almost looks like some kind of tentacle, or even a parasite. Is this special effects, or could we be witnessing a spiritual entity caught on camera while leaving Elizabeth? A creepy goat stands on 2 legs and stares ahead with beady black eyes. Reddit is trying to figure out if this is a statue, or is this a live animal trained to be as scary as possible. Its eyes kind of look expressive here at 9 seconds, and its ears somewhat move here, although that could just as easily be camera movement. In this video, 2 planes appear to be carelessly flying way too close to each other for almost a full minute, and I don't know why. I can't believe this would be planned, but at the same time I can't believe none of the passengers on a commercial airliner are screaming if this is happening. I've never flown a plane before, but I know that you're way too close when you can see what color shirt the pilot of the other plane is wearing. Someone tell me what's going on here, because it looks like total chaos in my opinion, but also possibly planned, like maybe a formation for an air show or something. If you heard this sound in the middle of nowhere, what would you do? Instagram account Cryptid University posts this video taken at a borrowed cabin in the middle of the forest. Listen closely.
That's time.
I don't know about you, but I got absolute chills from this audio. Listen again. Is this a skinwalker? I think it might be, and if so, it's actually closer than we think. Dennis from Dark Life captures what can only be a demon in this abandoned house. After his lantern mysteriously shuts off, Dennis scrambles in the darkness.
Hey, tickle.
Finally, he gets it turned back on.
Это походу его проделки.
He thinks the poltergeist is campaigning against him, so what next? The demon is in the adjacent room. He leaves for a moment, and when he returns, everything is on.
Хотел собирать вещи. И все включилось. Включилась камера, и включился этот свет.
Is the demon playing tricks on him?
Ну, в общем, все, друзья. На этом все. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Блин, у меня аж мурашки сейчас по коже, реально. Пипец. Отражение зеркала. Ой, зеркало, говорю, стекла.
Or is he standing there watching him? I can feel the demon's presence in this one, and I can't get that sound out of my head. While exploring this haunted professor's house, YouTuber Nighthawk's Paranormal captured something unexpected. One keen-eyed YouTuber, Salim Ali, spotted a strange shadow falling in the doorway behind Danny. I'm going to play it in slow motion because it's not easy to catch. Watch that doorway.
Could we be getting this right?
What was that? Let's take another look. The shadow moves quickly and unusually. It's almost indiscernible at normal speed.
Could we be getting this right?
To me, there doesn't appear to be movement in the home that might cause this shadow. I can't explain this one, but it feels demonic to me. You'll need to say your prayers if you're planning to spend a night in this creepy monastery. YouTuber Franco TV braves an overnighter at the haunted place known as the Devil's Monastery, and he immediately starts feeling unsettled.
Alright, I made it back out here, and it is horrifying, and starts kind of like pushing me in towards the church, where I feel like I'm protected slightly until I start having other weird encounters inside.
This time isn't any different for Franco. Once inside, he hears something.
Look what they did. They completely took down the cross and leaned it up against the wall. Hey. I think it was upstairs.
So he heads upstairs, but then starts hearing things downstairs.
I have my stuff right there.
Franco heads back down to the room to investigate.
It legit sounds like moving. Coming from the inside of here.
At first, he doesn't hear anything more significant, but then, as he continues forward, this is heard.
Yes.
Something moved back there.
Did you hear it?
Yes.
Something did legit move, and as he continues to search the haunted place, he hears yet another spooky voice.
Check over here.
This place is paranormal gold, and in my opinion, Franco's got some guts to visit this demonic place solo. I'd either need a posse to join me, or I'd have to steer clear of this pure evil. The YouTube team Ouija Brothers had to end their investigation after this paranormal encounter. They arrive at the abandoned place to find it destroyed.
Oh man, nah, look at
Look
it.
at that.
Look at the windows all on the top.
Oh no?
They've smashed all the windows on the top.
They smashed some bottom windows, look.
I opened up all the doors, which is handy for us.
Once inside, they attempt to communicate with the spirits, and in doing so, they hear a voice.
And that can be now.
Your phone just said something, didn't it?
Here it is again.
And that can be now.
Your phone just said something, didn't it?
And they keep hearing voices, although these aren't being picked up by their audio.
Hello?
I can hear. Hold on. Can you hear the voices?
Upstairs, he has a strange encounter that freaks him out.
Could you do something else but closer and inside this room, please?
Here it is again from another angle.
Could you do something else but closer and inside this room, please? Oh man.
What do you think buzzed past him? Was it just a bug, as some in the comments suspect? or something of the paranormal variety. Considering the voices they heard earlier, I think he was actually feeling the buzz of paranormal energy. What terrible creature lies in this empty field? YouTube channel Wokaya Razhai Official may have the answer. Captured in the darkness of night, this creepy creature looks like a thing of nightmares.
गाड़ियों का आवाज आ रही क्या चीज है एक मिनट ये क्या चीज है
Seeing it from a distance, it could be anything, even just a black garbage bag, but as they approach, they find that was wishful thinking. The thing is moving. As they wonder what this creature could be, it gets too close for comfort. I guess we'll never know for sure what that was. So do you agree with the title of the video saying that it's a black snake devil? While camping in a haunted forest at night, YouTuber Jasko experiences a paranormal microaggression. Just watch.
Can you come closer to us and like let us know? Oh, what the dude, what the just happened?
Whatever is in that dark forest, listen to Jasko's request, and then some.
Like, let us know. Like, let us know.
That looked really legit to me, especially due to the fact that he's holding his cell phone, which could have been water damaged. Who would risk it? Not many people can say they've been roughed up by a demon, but I think Jasko can. While investigating the supposedly haunted Indiana's State Sanitarium, YouTube team Epoch Paranormal hears some unexplained noises coming from upstairs.
Hello? Hey!
When they go to check the place to see if anyone's there, they hear a disembodied voice. It sounds to me like it says, "I'll get you." They come back down to find the door open.
Holy alright.
What?
The door is open.
I closed it. I closed it.
The door is fucking closed.
I pushed it not all the way closed, but it was kind of close.
Later, as they're firing up a paranormal device, they hear another unexplained thud.
What was that?
Sorry, I could
Chuck, but you're off the game. Hello?
I have no doubt this penitentiary is haunted, and judging by the spirit's aggression, I don't think they're welcome here. Shared to the Chills Narrator subreddit by 24/7 Top, this redditor wrote, "While talking in my sleep, I say what sounds like, 'Where's some matches?' and a demonic sounding reply sounds like, 'In kitchen.' Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about."
Matches.
I certainly hear the voice he's talking about. It's very deep, but if you listen closely, it does sound like something responds to his sleep talk.
Matches.
Given the eerie nature of the question and the response, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable sleeping in this place anymore, especially considering whatever responded to him seems to have fire on its mind. Colorado's 19th century Glendale Stagecoach Station and Inn has seen many a wary traveler pass on through, and now it seems some of their spirits lay their heads here to rest. YouTube team Aiden's Escapades investigates this historic haunted way stop. While using a spirit box, Aiden receives some strange messages. And this. Someone is watching, and they need help. A while later, they plead again. Would you help these lost souls? I think it could all be a con, but I'd probably have to try. YouTube team Ghost Theory investigates the centuries-old mansion and care home Uphill Grange in the UK. As they ask the spirits to show their presence, they almost instantly get a response.
That was pretty instant, if that was...
A few knocks, yeah?
Yeah, it was like glass.
And the knocks continue.
Did you hear the knock?
Yeah.
There was a knock.
Down a dark hallway, they hear another unexplained noise. It sounds like someone is there. On the stairs, they hear more thuds and bumps. While there was no obvious paranormal activity in this haunted mansion, I do feel something is here. The phantoms are creeping around the place, like they're in the walls. Who or what is at the door? Published in October of 2019, Juliana Villacrasis writes, "This creepy person rang my doorbell. I thought it was UPS because I had a package coming at 8, so I ignored it. To my surprise, my package wasn't there, so I checked my camera and found this. In place of her package, her Ring doorbell captured an alien creature on her doorstep. The mysterious stranger is wearing a ghoulish alien mask and holding a half-eaten pumpkin lollipop that looks incredibly threatening for some reason. The person stands there for a moment facing the door. Then he turns to look directly at the Ring doorbell cam. He backs up so it can get a full view, twirling his lollipop in his hand. He then gets closer to the camera and rings the doorbell, facing the door again. When no one answers, he disappointedly walks away. Was this alien imposter delivering Juliana's package? If so, return to sender."